Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Ayyin an-na'iba 'anil masdari fi ma ya'ti. Now we have to specify the deputies of the masdar, and basically the masdar being used as a deputy, or the masdar that has deputies that we have learned so far, like it has 8, we can say, nouns that work as the deputies of the masdar. So we have to specify them now. Fil hadithi, in the hadith, إذا قمت في صلاتك فصلي صلاة مودع. If you stand for a prayer, pray as if this is your last prayer, or pray like the one who prays as a farewell prayer. So now we can see here that Salla yusalli tasliyatan is basically, as we know, is form number 2. It's on the pattern of fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan, and we have Salla yusalli tasliyatan. But here we can see that tasliyatan has not been used. Here what has been used? Basically ismul masdar has been used. So we know that ismul masdar, for example salat, that can also be used as naib anil masdar, as a deputy of the masdar. So mawaddi'in, as we know that wadda'a yuwaddi'u tawdi'an is to say farewell. Ma wadda'aka rabbuka wa ma qala, as we have in the Quran. Fahuwa mawaddi'un, so the one who says farewell. So subhanallah, such a beautiful hadith that whenever we pray, we must pray as if this is our last prayer. Then we have in the Quran, فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ. So do not incline completely toward one. Now we have kulla. Here we can see that it is used as naib anil masdar. So basically we have learned, like from the beginning of the lesson, we have seen that a masdar has deputies, and it has around 8 deputies. And we have learned that ismal masdar, like wudu'un, salatun, it can be used as the deputy of the masdar. And similarly, kulla can be used as the deputy of the masdar. And then we have yatlu hadha al-qari'u tilawatan la yatluha ghayruhu. This qari, or the reciter, recites in a way like no one can recite like him. So now we have to see that where is naibul masdar? Here we have ha, as we have learned that there must be a damir that goes back to the noun. So basically here we have tilawatan, and we have la yatluha ghayruhu. So here ha is basically used as naibul masdar. Then we have ayya kitabatin taktubu. So ayya is mansub. Why is it mansub? Because it is maf'ul bihi of taktubu. So the sentence will be taktubu ayya kitabatin. The sentence will be like this: taktabu ayya kitabatin. So taktabu will be fail plus file, and ayya will be maf'ul bihi. But we know that it has the requirement, ayya has a requirement, because it's a question word. It should come in the beginning of the sentence. So it is maf'ul bihi, it is in the beginning of the sentence, and that's why it is mansub. That's number 1. And number 2, we have learned that kullun wa ba'dun wa ayyun, they are used as the deputy of the masdar. So it will be ayya kitabatin taktubu. What kind of writing are you doing? Or what kind of writing is this? Nahnu naqussu alayka ahsan al-qasas. Now we have also learned that the mudaf can be used as the naib al-masdar, as we can see over here. And basically qasas, as we can see here, qasas, in fact. So we have qassa yaqussu, and the masdar of yaqussu is qasas. Okay. We also have qisas with qaf with kasra. Does anyone know the difference between qisas and qasas? Any idea? Qisas is the plural of qissatun. Qissa, as we know, is a story, and the plural of qissatun is what? Qisasun. That is the plural with kasra. And when it comes with fatha, qaf, when it comes with fatha, then it is the masdar of qassa yaqussu. So look over here. The difference is very minute, but we need to be careful about it. that when we have qaf has fatha, that means it is the masdar of to narrate a story. Qassa yaqussu qissatan. So the plural of qissa is qissasun, and the plural and the masdar of yaqussu, as we can say here is qasas. So nahnu naqussu alayka ahsan al-qasas. So we know that when we have the maf'ul bihi and it is used with it is used with a mudaf, then also it can be used as naib anil masdar. So here ahsan al qasas, basically ahsan is being used as naib anil masdar. واذكر اسم ربك وتبتل إليه تبتيلا. Again here we have واذكر اسم ربك وتبتل إليه تبتيلا. So here tabtila will be the naib al masdar, and we know that battala yubattilu tabtilan, as we know this is from number 2 and this is the masdar over here. Hajjajtu 20 hajjatan. I performed hajj 20 times. So here 20 is being used as naib anil masdar, or it is being used as the naib of the masdar, as we can see over here. أتعامل أخاك هذه المعاملة? Do you deal with your brother like this? هذه, as we can see that ismul ishara can also be used as naibul masdar. قال الشاعر, and the poet says وقد يجمع الله الشتيتين بعدما يظنان كل ظن ألا تلاقيا. Kulla, as we can see that it is also used as naibul masdar, and shatitain is basically, shatitun is someone who is going to be separated. وَقَدْ يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ, and we know that qad, basically when it comes with the present tense, it gives the meaning of sometimes or it may. وَقَدْ يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ شَتِيتَيْنِ بَعْدَمَا, without a doubt Allah can gather two things which are separated or which are far apart. يَظُنَّانِ كُلَّ الظَّنِّ أَلَّا تَلَاقِيَا, even after they thought for sure that they would never be united. So here we can see that kulla is being used as naib anil masdar over here. Akmil hadhihi al-jumlata sajadtu, and how many times, what are we supposed to use over here? بمفعول مطلق يدل على العدد. So we have to use maf'ul mutlaq. Number 1, it should describe adad. Number 2, an-naw'i, and number 3, at-ta'kidi. So we have to use it in three different ways. Okay, we have here sajada yasjudu. The masdar is sujudan, and then we have masdar al-adad, adad or tadad, as we can see for the number, we have sajdatan. So it has, how many masdar do we have over here? 2. Sajada yasjudu sujudan wa sajdatan. This is the real masdar by itself, and this is masdar al-adad. So the first one will be sajadtu sajdataini. I prostrated twice. Yadullu ala al-adadi. So now this is number 1. We are talking about adad. So when you say sajadtu sajdataini, I prostrated twice. Then an-naw'i. So you say sajadtu sujuda khashi'in. I prostrated like a fearful person. So we know that sujuda khashi'in, basically sujuda is being used as mudaf and khashi'in is being used as mudaf ilayh. And then the third one should be lit-ta'kid. So you say sajadtu sujudan, I prostrated prostrating. That means I prostrated once. So here we are talking about the number, that's the adad, and here we are talking about a now, and we know that now can be used in two ways. Either it can be used as mudaf ilayh, or it can be used as mawsuf sifa. And then number 3, we can see that the real masdar can be used as maf'ul mutlaq, as we can see over here. So we say sajadtu sujudan, I prostrated prostrating. هاتي مثالا لكل ما ينوب عن المصدر الواقعي مفعولا مطلقا. Now we have to again provide the examples of the ones that deputize for the masdar al-mutlaq. So this we have, I think this is for the third time that we are going to do it. First time we did it in the beginning of the lesson. In the second lesson we discussed all of them in detail, and the third one now we are going to do it once more. So we can see over here that عاتبته بعد الإتابة. I punished him like a bit of punishment. But as we know, that means some punishment. So that doesn't mean that I punished him a lot. So we can see over here that ba'da is being used as naib anil masdar. And then we have to have more examples. فهمت المسألة كل الفهم. I understood the problem completely. So we can, as we know, that ba'da is used as deputy of the masdar, kulla is used as the deputy of the masdar, and also ayya is used as the deputy of the masdar. So we can see ayya qira'atin taqra'u. What kind of reading are you doing, or what kind of reading are you going through? So we can see that ba'da, kulla wa ayya can be used as naib anil masdar. Similarly, for the adad, we say i'tamartu 20 umratan. I performed 20 umras, so 20 للعدد. حفظت الدرس جيدا. I memorized the lesson very well. جيدا is used as an adjective. So it was basically حفظت الدرس حفظا جيدا, but we have to drop the masdar itself and only adjective has to be used. قبلت الطفل قبلة. I kissed the child once. And here we know that qublatun is basically ismul masdar, which is used for qabbala yuqabbilu taqbilan. Atukrimuni hadha al-ikrama. Do you welcome me, or do you honor me like this? So here we can see that, do you honor me like this? So here hadha, as we know, is being used as naibul masdar. يحفظ هذا الطالب الدرس حفظا لا يحفظه غيره. Now we can see that لا يحفظه, it refers back to the dars, to the lesson. So we can see that ad-damir, the pronoun, is being used as the deputy of the masdar. اشتريت الساعة شراء. مصدر يلاقيه في الاشتقاق. Now شراء is, as we know, that is basically شرا يشري شراء. This is الثلاثي and this is مزيد فيه, and we know that that الثلاثي can be used as a masdar for مزيد فيه. عشت حياة سعيدة. I lived a happy life, and here we can see that hayatan is basically being used as an adjective for aishatan, and here it is muradaf. Muradaf means it is a synonym, so synonym can also be used as naibul masdar. So it's, once again, we have seen that kulla ba'da wa ayya, and that's number 1. Number 2, adad. Number 3, adjective. Number 4, ismul masdar. Number 5, ismul ishara. Number 6, ad-damir. Number 7, masdarun yulaqihi fil ishtiqaqi. And number 8, al-muradaf. That means the synonyms. So alhamdulillah, this is something that we have now, something we have like revised for the 3rd time. So inshallah, I'm sure it's clear now. Please let me know if you have any questions. Okay. هاتي ثلاثة أمثلة للمصدر النائب عن فعله. Now we have to provide 3 examples of masdar being the deputy of the verb. Being the deputy of the verb. First, we have seen that the masdar itself has its own deputies. And how many deputies does it have? 8 deputies it has got. Now here we are being asked that we have to use masdar as a deputy of the verb, as a deputy of the verb. What does that mean? That means the masdar will be enough, it will be sufficient, and there is no need to use the verb. For example, we say shukran, so there is no need to say ashkuruka shukran. Similarly, we say ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. So here what happens when we say shukran, when we say ahlan, when we say sahlan, when we say marhaban, all of these are masdar and they are being used as naib an failihi. They are being used as the deputies of the verb. For example, we say mahlan ya rajulu. So mahlan is basically, we know that mahala yamhalu mahlan. So mahlan is being used as the it's a masdar and it is being used as a deputy of the verb. Yani amhal ya rajulu. So instead of saying amhal ya rajulu, we are saying mahlan ya rajulu. Similarly, ma'adhiratan ya akhi. Ma'adhiratan, adhara ya'adhiru ma'adhiratan is to apologize. So ma'adhiratan ya akhi, I apologize, oh my brother. So here you don't need to say a'tadhiru ma'adhiratan. Simply ma'adhiratan will be enough. And as we discussed, shukran ya ustadu. So it's basically ashkuruka shukran. So there is no need to say ashkuruka. Why? Because the masdar is being deputized, or it is doing the job of the verb. So it says like the verbs, it tells the verb that, for example, there is no need of you and I am enough for to do the job of the verb as well. So here masdar is doing the job of the verb of the verb itself. And the examples that we have discussed already, for example, we say afwan, and similarly mahlan and madiratan, similarly shukran, ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban, all of them, they are masdar and they are doing the job of the verb. There is no need to use the verb anymore. Now, we are done with half of the information with the masdar. And that was all about masdar al-maf'ul al-mutlaq. Now, there are some other types of masdar that we need to know. There are many kinds of masdar. So the first one that we have learned is what? Al-masdar al-mutlaq. That means the absolute object. And now there are some other types that we can learn over here. The first type we can see over here is called masdarul marrati. As we know that it's clear from the name, which like denotes how many times the action has taken place. So that's why it's called masdarul marrati, how many times the action has taken place. And it has only one wazn, as we can see, or pattern over here, which is fa'latun. So for example, you say darabtuhu darbatan ala wazni fa'latan. I hit him once, so darbatan. Wa darabani darbataini, and he hit me twice. As we know that darbatun is singular and darbataini is the dual. So wa darabani darbataini, and he hit me twice. طبع هذا الكتاب طبعات. This book was printed several times. So here we can see that tab'atun is basically masdar al-marra, and the plural of tab'atun is tab'atun. This is the plural of tab'atun. That is with respect to the verbs that have three root letters, al-thalathi al-mujarrad. Something really interesting, something really beautiful, and it also, like after doing this, all some of my thoughts were clear as or clarified as well. And what is that? We have when we talk about mazid fi, and we know that mazid fi we have learned from taf'il, if'al up to istaf'ala. So we have learned all the 9 babs of mazid fi. Masdar al-marra is formed by adding ta marbuta to the original masdar. Something very interesting. So for example, we have kabbara, yukabbiru, takbiran, right? But we say takbiratul ula, the first takbir, right? So why do we say takbiratun? So now we can see that ta marbuta has been added, and this ta marbuta here, when it is added to the masdar itself, then it becomes masdarul marra. So when you say takbiratun, that means saying Allahu Akbar 1. Similarly, in the Quran we have dhakkara yudhakkiru tadhkiran. But we also have in the Quran tadhkiratan, right? Tadhkiratan, taf'ilatan, on the pattern of. And similarly, we have sallama yusallimu taslim, and when in the end of the prayer we say assalamu alaikum, and then we say taslimatan. So whenever an extra ta is added to the real masdar, then it becomes masdar al-marra for the mazid fi. So this is something very, very important that we need to know. However, if you have itlalun, peeping out, and then we have itlalatun, this is something that I have explained several times. And what is that? I have explained that if a verb is ajwaf, or it has a weak letter in the beginning, in the middle of the verb, we have a weak letter. For example, we have alif, and we know that alif is a weak letter. Then there is always addition of ta marbuta. For example, adafa, yudifu, idafatan. Ashara, yushiru, isharatan. And similarly, we have atala, yutilu, itlalatan. So this information is not new to you or to me. We know this information already, but this information is really new to us, as we can see over here. that we have, and this is not the case with every masdar. This is how it is used in the Arabic. So we have to see, like, can we add ta marbuta to every masdar? Of course not. So whatever has been used in the Arabic language or in the Quran, inshallah, based on that, when our learning increases, we will come to know that it is being used as masdar al-marra. So we said nukabbiru arba'a takbiratin fi salati ala al-mayyiti. We say Allahu Akbar 4 times in the funeral prayer, and then you say atalaltu min an-nafidati itlalataini. I looked out from the window twice. So I hope inshallah this idea is clear as well. So we have learned about masdar al-marra in English. Now we can see what is it in Arabic. ضربته ضربة. I hit him once. ضربة مثال لمصدر المرة. So ضربة is the example of مصدر المرة. ومصدر المرة and مصدر المرة. Now we have these columns says that the definition is coming. هو ما يذكر لبيان عدد الفعل, which is used to describe the number of the action. ويبنى, as we know that بنى يبني and يبنى is the passive form. ويبنى من الفعل الثلاثي المجرد على وزن فعلة. And from the verbs that have 3 root letters, it is made on the pattern of فعلة. بفتح الفاء, that fa al-kalima has fatha, as we can see over here. والسكون العين, and عين al-kalima is sakin. So we can see over here that the first letter has fatha and the second letter is sakin. Nahwu, for example, ضربته ضربة, I hit him once. وضربتين, and I hit him twice. وضربات, and several times. وتلحق التاء بمصدر الفعل غير الثلاثي المجرد. And لحق يلحق is to join, and تلحق is the passive. وتلحق التاء بمصدر الفعل and غير الثلاثي المجرد. And if the verb is غير الثلاثي المجرد, and if it is مزيد في, then an additional ta is added to that. For example, كبر يكبر takbiran, but here what do we have? Takbiratan. So this is additional ta that has been added to the masdar. Kabbara yukabbiru takbiran and takbiratan. Nukabbiru arba takbiratin fi salati ala al-mayyiti. We pray for rak'ahs for takbirat for the prayer of the dead. وإذا كان بناء المصدر الأصلي بالتاء ذكر بعده ما يدل على العدد. And وإذا كان بناء المصدر الأصلي بالتاء. What if the real masdar ends with ta marbuta? For example, here rahmatun, rahima yarhamu, and rahmatan. Now we can see that it ends with ta marbuta already. So what should we do now? So what we have to do now, we have to add an adjective after that. That's the thing that we have to do. Rahimtuhu rahmatan wahidatan. So now we can see over here that rahmatan is the masdar, and we have to add adjective to that, as we can see over here. Similarly, aqamtu iqamatan wahidatan. I established the prayer only once, so iqamatan wahidatan. And tarjamtu al-kitaba tarjamatan wahidatan. I translated the book only once. So the rule that we need to remember over here is, if the masdar already ends with ta marbuta, then it is necessary that we have to add adjective to that, as we can see over here. Rahmatan wahidatan, wa iqamatan wahidatan, and tarjamatan wahidatan. And that's what I mentioned in the previous slide, that if a verb is ajwaf, and this is for the verbs that are mazid fi. So if it is ajwaf, then what happens? The masdar takes an extra ta marbuta. Masdar takes what? Extra ta marbuta. Aqama yuqimu iqamatan, adafa yudifu idafatan, and similarly ashara yushiru isharatan. And there are many examples that we have discussed over here, and there are many examples of this in the Quran as well. صغ مصدر المرة من الأفعال الآتية. صاغ يصيغ صيغة, and this is صغ is فعل الأمر on the pattern of قل. For example, we say قال يقول, and صاغ يصوغ صيغة, and صغ is basically فعل الأمر. What is this? فعل الأمر on the pattern of what? For example, we say قل. So it is similar to that, as we can see over here. So وقف And Masdar al-Marra, as we know that it's on the pattern of fa'latun, so it will be waqfatun, break, waqfatun, akala, and then we have aklatun, food, jalasa, and then we have jalsatun, sitting, sallama, and then we have taslimatun, to say assalamu alaikum, or to say to hand over something to someone if it comes with the preposition of ila. So sallama, and the masdar that we can see, masdar al-marra over here is what? Taslimatun. Similarly, we have seen kabbara, and then we have seen takbiratun. So I'm sure, inshallah, this information is really helpful, and it's clarifying lots of doubts that we might have while we are learning Arabic language. We are done with masdar al-marra, and now we are talking about masdar al-hay'ah. Another kind of masdar, this is called the masdar of manner, as we can see over here, hay'atun. It is on the pattern of fi'latun. So what's the difference over here? That one was fa'latun with fa al-kalima with fatha, and here we have fa al-kalima with kasra, fi'latun. For example, we have jilsatun, manner of sitting, mishyatun, manner of walking. We say la tamshi mishyatan nisa, don't walk like women. Ijlis jilsata talib ilmin, we have seen this example in the lesson as well. Sit as students sit. And now we can see over here that the first letter has fatha in masdar al-marra, but when we talk about masdar al-hayya, then the first letter has kasra, as we can see over here. And it is not formed from mazid abwab. We don't make it from mazid fi, we only make it from al-thalathi al-mujarrad. We have seen that masdar al-marra can be made from both al-thalathi al-mujarrad, and we can also make it from mazid fi, but we can see over here that masdar al-hayya is only made from the verbs that have 3 root letters. Jalasa, and similarly we have masha yamshi mishyatan. Ijlis jilsata talib ilmin, jilsatun mithalu li masdar al-hayyati, masdar al-hayya. So as we have seen that it is called the masdar of manner, ma yudhkaru lidalalati ala hayyati al-fi'li wa sifatihi, which is basically used to describe the manner of the verb or its adjective. وَيُصَاغُ عَلَى وَزْنِ فِعْلَةٍ, and it is made on the pattern of fi'latun. Saga, as I said, saga yasughu, and yusaghu is basically passive on the pattern of yuqalu. On the pattern of what? Yuqalu. Qala yaqulu, qila yuqalu. So these are the things that we have learned in book number 2. Inshallah, I'm sure you remember them. So this is also passive. Bikasrin fasukunin. So what does it have? It has kasra, and then after that it has sukun. As we can see over here, it has kasra, and after that what do we have? We have sukun over here. Jilsatun min jalasa. So what do we make from jalasa? We make jilsatun. Fit tanzili, in the Quran, فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. So we can see over here, Aisha, as we can see here, is basically on the pattern of jilsatun, or on the pattern of fi'latun, in fact, sorry. So on the pattern of fi'latun, so it will be Aishatun. So the first letter has kasra, and the second one is sakin. في الحديث فإذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة. And when you kill in the best possible manner. And of course, it refers to al-qasas. Al-qasas, when a person kills someone and he is also being killed. So of course, the purpose of learning Arabic language is also to make sure that we do not take anything out of the context. For example, this, especially when it comes to hadith, it is very, very important that we should know the context, like in what context that hadith has been narrated. And we can't just go by the superficial meaning and we say, oh, it says, and whenever you kill in the best possible manner. No, it's not like that. It's basically for qasas, and it is only when the rules of the Sharia are being implemented, and that's only by the government. Similarly, after, if you follow the verse, if you follow the Sahih hadith, then it says وَإِذَا ذَبَحْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الذِّبْحَةَ, and it says if you slaughter, then slaughter in the best possible manner. So this is basically, we are being taught our religion, like what is the best possible way to do the things. And here it is that when a person is being killed for the purpose of qasas, then he must be killed in the best possible manner. وَمِنَ الْأَمْثَالِ, and then we have the sayings, and from the saying, what do we have? أَخَشَفًا وَسُوءَ كِيلَةٍ. So kilatin, where does it come from? Basically, we have kala yakilu kailan wakilatan. Kala yakilu kailan wakilatan. وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ, as we have in the Quran. So kala yakilu is to measure, and it has how many masdar? Two. Kailan wakilatan. Khashafan. So what is khashafan? It is basically inferior dates. So khashaf is inferior date. Khashafan wa su'a kilatin. So two things are over here. Number one, al khashafu arda tamari. Radiun, the word radiun, as we know, something inferior, and from there we have afal tafdil, arda'u tamari, that means the inferior type of dates. That is, and then we have يضرب هذا المثل لمن يجمع خصلتين. And this example is narrated for the person who has two attributes. يجمع خصلتين مكروهتين, who has two bad attributes. And what are those two attributes? Number one, he is giving the date that is the worst kind of date. And number two, what he is doing? When he is measuring it in the worst possible manner. So taqdeerul kalami, the real meaning will be atabi'u hashafan, that you sell dates, and the dates that are inferior ones. But takilu su'a kilatin, and also what you do when you measure it in the worst possible manner. So these are the examples that we have from the sayings. And then we have waqala shairu, and the poet says, Mashayna mishyat al-laythi. Mishyatun, as we have that masha yamshi, mishyatun. So alayth, as we can see, al-asadu, and the plural is luyuthun, that basically means the lion. Mashayna mishyat al-laythi, we walked like a lion. Ghada wal-laythu ghadbanu. Ghada yaghdu is to do something early in the morning. Ghada wal-laythu ghadbanu. So we walked like an angry lion who sets forth early on his hunt for prey. So how did we walk? How did we go out? We went out like an angry lion. And why the angry lion is angry? Because it's early in the morning and he is really hungry and he is looking for the food. So basically our focus over here is on masdar al-hayya. And what is that masdar al-hayya? It's on the pattern of mif'alun, and here we have mishyatun. Mashayna mishyat al-laythi, ghada wal-laythu ghadbanu. صغ مصدر الهيئة من الأفعال الآتية. So now what we have to do, we have to make مصدر الهيئة from the following verbs. Okay, so the first one, who will make the first one? We have عاش يعيش, and it will be عيشة, right? عيشة الراضية. Then we have مات يموت, and it will be ميتة. ميتة وليس ميتة. ميتة is different and ميتة is different. Then we have jalasa yajlisu, and then we have jilsatun, and then we have qatala yaqtulu, and today we have learned from the hadith, it is qitlatun. Qitlatun, as we can see over here. لا يبنى مصدر الهيئة من غير الثلاثي المجرد. And the masdar of manner is not made from the verbs that are not mazid fi. So what does that mean? That the verb should have only 3 root letters. And if it does not consist of 3 root letters, that means we cannot make masdar al-hayya from that. So I believe, inshallah, this is enough for today. Yes, inshallah. And when we meet again in the next lesson, we will complete our lesson. Then we will look at some of the examples from the Quran, inshallah. And also we will also have a look at the vocabulary of the lesson. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.